The Witch in the Wood by T.H. White. Chapter 6. There was little to do at Lothane Castle in the mornings. Its supernatural mistress did not come down for breakfast, and the children spent all the first part of the day doing lessons with Sir Palomides. The flora and fauna of the place were not conducive to a great deal of nightly exercise, such as Sir Grummore and the king might have indulged in, for although it was a startling kind of fauna, it was rare. There were all sorts of glorious varieties, such as eagles, capercailzie, gerfalcons on passage, cormorants, and of course the unicorns, but these things were not there in profusion. Several days might go by without ever seeing a unicorn. They kept mostly with the monarchs of the glen on the high tops. And as King Lot had taken all his knights to the war, there was nobody to joust with. Our two knights-errant might have left the place after the weekend in search of real adventure, except for the fact that the magic boat which had delivered them was nowhere to be found next morning. This was either because Queen Morgause had scuttled it by nigromancy, or because it had just sailed away on its own account. Having something else to attend to, King Pellinore and Sir Grummore were left to their rhymes. "Look here," said the king, sitting at a letter in the solar, now bright with daylight. "I say, this is what I've written so far. This is what it says." What does it say?" "It says, 'Dear P, I say, why don't you answer a fellow's letters? What? I mean to say rarely, you know. It makes a fellow feel ever so when you don't answer a fellow's letters from a fellow, eh? I am very well, thank you. How are you? Thank you. Tons of love from Pellinore." "You ought to put something in about her." "How do you mean something about her? A sort of compliment, you know." "Oh! Would it do at the end?" asked the king, sucking his pen. "Yes, but you ought to say about yourself, too. What are you doing, I mean, and all that." "What am I doing?" "Well, you're staying here." "Yes, I could put that." This is what it says now, said the king after a bit triumphantly. "It says, 'P.S. I am here. Where are you? There is a woman here. She is called Queen Morgause. I wish she was you.'" "That's the compliment." Oh, that's the compliment," explained the king, looking at Sir Grummore over the top of the page. "It's a muddling one," said Sir Grummore. "You ought to say, 'I wish you were she.'" "But I don't wish it at all. I think she's a frightful woman." "Then why do you run after her?" "Oh, I never did." Why you're writing to her this minute." "Here, I say, hold a minute, Grummore. Who did you say I was writing to?" "The Queen's daughter of Flanders." The king consulted the address. "Yes," he said, considerably mystified. "I am. What if she's a frightful woman?" "But she isn't a frightful woman." You said she was." "Did I?" "Yes, you did." "Well, I must have made a mistake." In the schoolroom, Sir Palomides was making heavy weather. "What is the BC 55 and 54? What is this BC 55 and 54 anyhow?" asked Gareth. "It sounds like a number." "BC means before the birth of our Lord. BC, before our Lord, do you see? But that would be BOL. How did they know he was going to be born anyway?" This is irreverent, Mr. Gawain." "I don't feel reverent." "If you are irreverent, you shall be punished." "Why?" "You shall write out times 100. Yours truly must not blaspheme." "What is blaspheme?" "No making of arguments." "Is arguing to ask questions?" "Yes," shouted the unfortunate Paynim. "Do you feel reverent?" asked Agravain. Sir Palomides swallowed violently, went red in the face, and said, "I do," in a strangled voice. What does it feel like?" "Thus feels," said Sir Palomides faintly, "like all the good and beauty in the world." "Like sex," explained Gareth. If speakings are made like thus again, Mr. Gareth, you will get stick, yes, yes. Isn't sex beautiful? Sex, said Sir Palamedes haughtily, can be noblest thing in the world, but it can also be wickedness terrible. When is it wicked? Such things are not fit for child age. But you said that education was learning things needed when we grow up. Thus is quite a different thing. Well, we need sex when we grow up. Yours truly hopes not that sort, replied Sir Palomides loftily. What sort? The wicked sort, Mr. Gareth. Please will you tell us the difference? We think this is very interesting. Interesting is hardly the right word, Mr. Gawain, for it is important and almost holy subject, but yours truly will try to tell a little about same. Now flowers, after a bit Gareth said, But surely my mother didn't marry a bee. King Pellinore had got depressed about his letter. What's the good sending it, I mean, if she never answers any of them? You must keep trying, old boy, nothing else for it. Do you think it would be any good committing suicide? Any good for what? Well, she'll be sorry for it afterward, wouldn't she, what? Now, Pellinore, no morbidity. But I will be morbid, exclaimed the king. It's a morbid subject altogether. I shall jump straight over the edge of this cliff, and then, when I am dead, Piggy will be walking along the seashore one day, what? And she will see poor old Pellinore floating by with his eyes shut, and perhaps carrying a lily or a forget-me-not in his hand, and then she'll be sorry. Now. Yes, she will. She'll be sorry. She'll put him in with a boat hook or something, and then she'll put his head in her lap and wash his face with tears like anything. That she will. But she'll get wet. It won't matter. Nothing matters. Oh, come now, Pellinore. I tell you, it doesn't matter. But you wouldn't even float, old boy, not in armor. The king looked contemptuously upon his friend and shrugged his shoulders, then wandered off to inspect a few cliffs. Sir Palomides came in a few minutes afterward to find Sir Grummer alone in the Salar. The Paynim helped himself to a large glass of dry sherry's sack, and sat down on a chest with a dreadful sigh. Had a good morning? Inquired Sir Grummer kindly. Not very. Must be a difficult job, all this teaching. It is difficult. Often wish I was learned. Don't you be, said Sir Palomides. Thought of anything for old Pellinore? Inquired Sir Grummer. I mean this stone-turning business and avenues. Yours truly has devoted mind to same. Did it work? Partly, said Sir Palomides modestly. And what came of it? Nothing, said Sir Palomides, but mind is still devoted. And that is the end of chapter 6.